Welcome to the first episode of GameBound. Now this is about 2 to 3 weeks late, but I had to cover this anyway, and it's late because of him. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. My name's Oz, this is my co-host Dan, and we're gonna cover Nintendo Power. Now, Nintendo Power is coming to a close in December, and it first debuted in July of 1988. So it's 3 to 4 months younger than me, and for me, Nintendo Power's always been that little brother that I never had, that always knew more than I did about my passion for the industry. He always knew the latest upcoming games, latest upcoming consoles, always had all those news, reviews, previews, and cheats. I could never be better than him, but I fucking loved him and carried him with me whenever I went to school, whenever I went to a friend's. It was like, if you had Nintendo Power when you went to school, you were the cool kid. You had all of the latest gossip. So I'm just going to relive and tell you some of my Nintendo Power memories because it was very near and dear to my heart, and I was subscribed for about 14 consecutive years. I started subscribing to Nintendo Power probably back in, oh man, when was it? It was about 1992, 1993 after playing A Link to the Past. And it was my mother that bought the game for her Super Nintendo. She was a Nintendo girl. And when I played that, like, it was just fucking amazing. It's Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, one of the best games ever made. And she just subscribed to Nintendo Power because she was a huge gamer. And I just always reading through the issues, and that's where I got my start. But back in 1996, when I got my Nintendo 64, the subscription was now, for me, she was like fading off of gaming, and I was essentially carrying the torch for my family of being the ultimate gamer. And man, like the Ultra 64 back then, that was one of the biggest reveals for me. That just absolutely blew my mind. Going from 16-bit awesome games like F-Zero with the Super Effects chip and Star Fox with its polygons, it was just like, whoa. And then a whole console built around this is going to look like Killer Instinct in the arcades. If you ever played that in the arcades, you used to have an Ultra 64 promo. Oh my god, Ultra 64. It was fucking awesome. God damn, do I love that. And yeah, watching like Super Mario 64, how fluid the animations were. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that because they don't have videos and magazines. But you get my point. Just looking at it and going, holy crap, it's as if there's an alternate reality in my television that's going on. I can almost reach in and grab it. But man, that was just huge. And one of my favorite tales for Nintendo Power is back in March of 1998, as Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time was being hyped up for a release date and all that. All of a sudden, my Nintendo Power issues just stopped coming in the mail. And I went up to my grandma and I'm like, what's going on? Why aren't I getting my Nintendo Power? She's like, I'm not sure. I'm going to send them in, I almost said an email. Email back then? No. I'm going to send them some mail and figure out what's going on. And I didn't get any issues from March until Christmas. And on Christmas, I got some cool like Game Boy Color games. Maybe I got like Pokemon at the time. I can't remember if that was 97 or 98. But I was really happy with what I got. And then my grandmother's just like, yeah, this huge stack of magazines came for you. And it was all of the issues of Nintendo Power that I've been missing from March to December. And as I'm going through them, it's all the latest details about Ocarina of Time. And I was the only kid with Nintendo Power at my school because a lot of my friends just didn't care enough, even though they loved it. They couldn't convince their parents, whatever. So I'm just going through, I'm like, holy hell, this game is looking like the best game ever made. I need this game to complete my life. And after I spent like 2 hours reading through all of the magazines, just my mind being blown away, page by page, learning about other awesome games that are coming out as well. And then I'm just like, man, I can't wait to get my hands on this game. And then she hands me a small little box. Open it. Ocarina of Time, the collector's edition, gold cartridge and everything, just like the NES original that I fell in love with back in like 1991 when I first saw that, the gold cartridge. Oh, man, that's like a staple of the series now. It was so special to me, and that's my favorite Nintendo Power moment. And I'm just blathering on. You have to have a favorite Nintendo moment that blew your mind and a favorite reveal. So what would yours be?
Favorite reveal? Well, I started getting Nintendo Power just before Pokemon came out. So I have to say, Pokemon was the big reveal for me, because I was huge in my school. So I used Nintendo Power to get ahead of all of my friends. There's always that one step ahead of everybody.
There was the trainer guides. I remember those of like, these are the effective teams that you should use.
Yeah. And then later on, those little comics came in. Those were awesome. I mean, they were just stupid replays of the episodes. But I opened it right up to the Pokemon Center section every time. Read through the
Yep, I was
comic.
guilty of that too.
I tried pulling some of them out so I could keep the comics separate, but that didn't work out too well. And then the missing no cheat came like in Nintendo Power in the cheat section.
Did it? I don't remember.
Which was the second place after the Pokemon Center I always flipped to. Because even though most of the time it had no cheats for any games I had, that one time that it did, like every couple months, was awesome.
And what's your favorite just moment of Nintendo Power, your favorite memory?
Getting the magazine once a month was like this awesome thing that happened to me. I'd be like down and depressed because school sucks. And Nintendo Power in the mail. But yeah! Go to my room, read it. My day was like set by that.
It's a shame that I don't have any of my issues anymore due to life difficulties. Shit happens. But when I used to have my collection in my closet and I'm like trying to clean my room or something, shove everything in the closet, I would just be like, oh shit, here's like 100 magazines, and you break your back lifting it up and then you would start going through it again. You ever do that?
Yeah. Never got my room clean with those around.
Do you have a favorite issue? When they were hyping Donkey Kong 64 and it came in a special Nintendo Power magazine.
Oh, I remember that.
Opened it up
Yeah.
just for the entrance, and like it had one of the best fucking posters. Goddamn, I love those posters.
I'd probably say probably the Majora's Mask issue because I wasn't subscribed to it when Ocarina of Time came out. Majora's Mask was awesome for me. I actually played that before Ocarina of Time.
That is blasphemy! Oh man. That's our Nintendo Power stories, and I went around at my old work. I work in a video game store, and I asked some of the people that came in what are their favorite memories of Nintendo Power, and what are their favorite reveals that blew their mind. Some of my fond memories of Nintendo Power. Well, I can't remember the exact year when I started collecting my Nintendo Power magazines, but it was actually my parents that used to pay for my subscription, and I read up on a whole bunch of games in there. I remember for the 64, I read up on Ogre Battle, and that was the first game I went to my parents, and I basically told them I needed that game. Before it even came out, I needed that game. I needed to make sure they had it, at least the day it came out. And that's what happened. I got it the first day it came out, and it is probably one of my most favorite, if not my most favorite game of all time. As time went on, every year I re-signed up, got a new thing from them. I think I had my Pokemon games back in the day from them. And I mean, you get the Pokemon games and you read up all about the Pokemon games in their magazine. Just the fact that they had all the fan artwork in there was pretty cool too. I always went through, and that's where I started getting all my cheat codes and that before the internet was this huge big ass thing. You could just go through it and look up everything. But I mean, it's kind of sad because the last few years I haven't had my subscription, but I still have all of my old magazines, and every time I saw them, I went, I should sign up again. I never quite got there. And now, it's so sad that we're losing one of our most precious things, Nintendo Power. I remember looking up GoldenEye actually, and it was telling you, what was it again? How to unlock all the extra characters, I think it was. So you had the, like, I can't remember how many characters it was anymore. I remember just reading like some of the history and things that they put in there too. It was, like, I wish Nintendo kept going on with it. That's about all I can say. I just found out apparently by my friend here that Nintendo Power is going to be no more, and I'm rather sad about it. 24 years old. I still remember, like, I still have boxes of these magazines sitting at home, to the point where I've probably almost broken my back from trying to pick up a box of them. And I still have people that look at them and go, hey, what are these? I explain, it's Nintendo Power, man, you gotta know about this. I still have, I've seen magazines from like some of their earlier years too, and just some of the things that they had in there too. It's just really cool. And then, I mean, their subscription bonuses were awesome to have too. Basically got a year of them plus something that cost the same value as the year of them. I think that's where I got my Zelda Collector's Edition disc too, which was also a fairly fond memory, and you should appreciate that. I think that's probably where I actually started liking RPGs too. Just looking at that game, I don't know what it was, it clicked. I'm looking through all the little sections of it and about it, and I needed that game.
So you could say that Nintendo Power is to thank for your love of RPGs.
Yeah, entirely. Wouldn't argue that at all.
Alright, my fondest memory would probably be sitting in class reading about Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, along with a bunch of friends, telling them, discussing how the game goes and stuff. The games. I just enjoyed learning about new games, trying to, you know, find new games to pick up, start playing, and even if they had it, learn secrets about the game. I actually kept the posters in the magazine. Didn't want to go about wrecking it.
Just disappointed. I mean, know this old stuff while I can, but now they're getting rid of Nintendo Power. It's the only thing kids read and had everything in it. I don't know why they'd get rid of it. The first one was the best. Everybody loved that. You open it up, it's got Metroid, Zelda, Super Mario Brothers. There'll never be a magazine that good. Never. That was the one. They had the Nintendo 64, but it wasn't called the Nintendo 64
The Ultra
yet.
64.
Yeah, the Ultra 64, and had the picture of Diddy Kong kind of looking at it with the shadows. That was pretty sweet. The internet doesn't replace Nintendo Power.
It really doesn't.
No, I mean, it's got all the information that's in Nintendo Power, but it's not the same thing. It's, no, even the illustrations are great. Part of owning the game is having the issue of Nintendo Power that goes with the game. Now, mind you, you could never get them out of the magazine without ripping it, so I kept them in, but, you know, it's, no, you can't get posters on the internet. It just doesn't replace it.
I remember being like the only kid at school who had Nintendo Power.
I was that kid.
You'd bring it to school and you open up and you'd be like, "This is a Donkey Kong game coming for N64," and people would be like, "Bullshit," and they call bullshit on you every time. And then you show them the page and they'd flip. But my favorite part about Nintendo Power was definitely the posters. And
if you could get them out without damaging them.
It's also my least favorite part because I mean you had to have like a perfect staple remover just to like pry them out, and there'd still be those little holes. And that's why every time I go to my friend's house and they have like a video game poster, and you look and you see the little holes, you're like, yeah, he had Nintendo Power. Probably when Twilight Princess was announced. That was kind of like when the first trailer came out. Everyone like flipped shit.
It was more to a realistic approach rather than Wind Waker's obvious polarizing animated
Mind you, the first time I
style.
saw Wind Waker, I was kind of surprised too. Like I opened up the magazine because I didn't. It wasn't even like. You know, Nintendo Power used to do like those annual things, like the Christmas gift guide.
Yeah.
And I got one for Christmas one year because I didn't get it in the mail for some reason. And I remember just opening it up and looking at it, and there's like a picture of Link in the cell shaded, and I thought it was like a Charlie Brown book at first.
Ha!
I was like, oh, that's cool. I like Charlie Brown. But then no, it was Zelda, and I shit my pants.